Welcome to another episode of Gari-On Talks. Um, this is Dorrit, your host. Gari-On is short for Garifuna Onward. This show is about um, the Garifuna life, talking to people of Garifuna origin, and of course, discussing how the language fits in their lives. So today, I'm happy with our guest. Um, she is a niece of mine. She is someone who is ambitious, dedicated, uh, someone who is a daughter, a sister, a niece, of course, and someone with military experience. So I'm happy to welcome Taryn. Welcome, Taryn. Thank you for being here.
Hi.
So I will pass it over to you. Please tell us a little bit about your background, your journey to where you are now.
Hi everyone. My name is Taryn Nunez. Currently I live in Clovis, New Mexico, but I lived in Dangrigga, Belize for the first 19 years of my life. Both my parents are Garifuna, and I went up for Miss Garifuna in Dangrigga 2 times, and I won 1 time, and I was Miss Garifuna Dangriga. And after that, after I left the Belize, I joined the U.S. Air Force, and I served for 4 years. And now I'm just in college, pursuing my bachelor's, and hopefully pursuing a career in medicine.
hmm So tell us about growing up Garifuna. What was that like for you?
Growing up Garifuna, I feel like the basis of growing up Garifuna is just having that family that that your family is very big and important, and just always having that support system. Just growing up around the culture, I always listened to the music, kunta. I already knew how to do the basic dances. I grew up very involved in the culture. I was a part of several dance groups, so I was always in tune with my culture. And also, there's that food aspect, eating your bundiga, your hudut, like just that, making sure that you're always just immersed in the culture. So I very much enjoy growing up with my Garifuna culture, and yeah.
hmm So, what would be do you, when it comes to the language, can you Can you understand Garifuna? Can you speak Garifuna?
Uh, when I went up for the pageant, Miss Garifuna, I always had to learn my lines because unfortunately I don't know how to speak Garifuna, and I don't really understand it that much. I wish I can. I wish I could, and I'm still trying to learn. But as of right now, I just know a couple key phrases.
Okay. So was that something that your parents kind of did they speak to you in Garifuna? How did you know, like, all right, this is a culture that's, well, you already explained that, the key aspects of the culture, the music, the food, and that. But in terms of the language, did your parents speak to you in Garifuna, or any of your maybe grandparents or so speak to you in Garifuna? Did they ask you to maybe respond to them in Garifuna? Did they ever teach you some words and phrases? Like you said, some phrases.
Yeah, I just had this conversation with my parents because I was recently in Korea, and I was telling them I was learning Korean, and I was like, guys, why don't I know girlfriend, And they was like,
Mhm.
oh, my mom said that when I was a baby, my dad used to talk girlfriend to me, but my mom laughed at him, so he stopped.
Mm.
He stopped teaching me. But the key phrases I know, I did do a lot of Garifuna dances, like a lot of dance groups and stuff. And so the key phrases I learned from there. And I did go up for Miss Garifuna a couple times, so I did learn some more over there. But uh, apart from like that, I never really got any formal, like my parents or my grandparents talking to me in Garifuna.
Mhm. Okay. And what are some of those key phrases that you know?
No, I know buiti binafi, buiti
That's good morning. Mhm.
buiti rambawi. Like I just know
That's good afternoon. Mhm.
how to say Taryn Nunez nerve. And
Mhm. Taryn Nunez is my name. Mhm.
yeah, and that's about it. I feel like I know a couple more phrases, but not really much. Like not enough to say that I know Garifuna.
Mhm. Okay. And is the language something that you think is important to learn as someone of Garifuna origin?
I do think that the language is something that is important. I feel like the Garifuna culture is just so rich that I would want to preserve every single aspect of it. So I do want to, in the future, make an effort to learn it.
Mhm. Okay. Sounds like a plan, Taryn. And I challenge you to learn it.
Mhm.
And I've been told, if I'm doing such a show, I should learn it too. And I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that. Um, so you spoke a little bit about the language. So what was it like preparing for the Miss Garifuna competition? And what did you learn from that experience?
Well, the Miss Garifuna competition, yes, there's like the language aspect, but it's just so like you have to know all the aspects of Garifuna because there's the dance, there's the culture. You have to prepare your main item, so you have to have like a speaking point that you want to talk about. And I feel like learning, like preparing for those pageants really made me feel like closer to the Garifuna culture because I had to learn every aspect of it so I could be a good candidate. And I
Mhm,
really treasure those moments where I practiced because I really felt in tune with my culture and I learned some of the language through
mhm,
that. And I also learned the dance. I had to like learn important issues in Garifuna culture so I could prepare a strong main item. So it was really a really good experience. And I would encourage all young Garifuna women to at least once in their lifetime try to go up for the Miss
mhm.
Garifuna.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, and in terms of being Garifuna, what's most important to you as a Garifuna? What do you think make you a Garifuna? And when you go around and people, meet new people, sounds like you travel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
When they say, "Where are you from?" how would you respond to them?
Whenever anybody asks me where I'm from, I always say Belize.
Mhm,
I never say America. I always say Belize. I love
mhm,
Belize, and I'm always proud to say Dan Google, my hometown. And I feel like what it means to me to be Garifuna is just the culture, the family togetherness. Like when I think about being Garifuna, I think about the culture, the family aspect of it. Like it's not just me. I myself, I'm not Garifuna, but everybody together. Like all our family, we make up Garifuna culture, and I couldn't do it on my own. I think about my mom and my grandparents and everybody that came before me to make sure that I could stand today as a Garifuna woman. So I just think of family, and that's the most important thing when I think about what it means to be Garifuna, my family.
mhm. Okay. So, in terms of, you said you were, of course, in the military and a part of the Air Force. What? what inspired you to go that direction, and what was it like, that experience for you? And of course, what did you learn?
Um, what made me join the military? I don't know, really. It just randomly came to me one day, and I knew that I heard other people, like other close friends of mine, join the military, and I always knew I wanted to go to college and pursue my education. So that was like the big motivating factor to me, knowing that I wanted to pursue my college and I didn't want to, incur all that debt. And my experience through the military was it was meaningful, and but it did make me really appreciate being like my background and my family, because in the military you just meet so many different people and you learn
Mhm,
a lot of different cultures, and it just made me more proud to be myself and where I came from, because I saw everybody else's cultures, and I have appreciation for theirs, but I appreciated mine a lot more.
mhm, mhm. And I could kind of relate, and I've never been in the military, but when I went to study in Jamaica, when going to Caribbean School of Architecture, there are people there from all over the Caribbean, and of course you're away from home, so those people kind of become your family in a way because you're around them all the time. And of course, you meet new people, you hear about their background, and you hear about their culture, you
Hmm.
know, and you see the differences and similarities. And of course, you get to appreciate, like you said, where you come from and what you have access to, and know how lucky or blessed you are, because, there's a lot of people that don't have the resources that we have, or have the opportunities that we have. So it gets, you get to appreciate it more. So we used to have like cultural day. So you come and you bring like maybe a Belizean flag or something from your home country, and you display it. You get the opportunity to talk about it. So other people learn about your culture, and you learn about other people culture. So I can definitely to relate in that way. So yeah. All right. Um, so you said you're currently a student. So what made you like pursue the career, you know, route that you're in? And of course, what are you learning from that experience?
After my time in the military ended, I knew I wanted something different. And while I was in the military, I did intelligence. And, I didn't, I appreciate my time in the military, but while I was with intelligence, I really realized, like, this is not what I want to do. And so while I was at my 3 year mark, getting ready to like separate from the military, I decided to go back to school. And originally, I did want to do dentistry because I always wanted to do um, pursue a job in healthcare. So I looked
Mhm,
into dentistry, but I realized I didn't want to do that anymore. And so now I'm on the path to become a physician assistant. And so right now I'm going to school for like biology. And so far, what I'm learning in school is like completely different. I have to get back in tune into being a student, because before this, the last time I was in school was in 2019.
mhm,
So it's just adjusting back to being a student. And even though I'm not that much older, I have a lot of people in my class that like fresh out of high school. So I have to adjust to that as well.
mhm,
And it's just like, I don't know, science. And because I did business while I was in high school in Belize. So like learning science is just a lot of information. And, like competing for medical school, any kind of medical school is like really competitive. So I just
mhm,
have that pressure of always having to get good grades.
mhm,
But I feel like I'm learning a lot, and I'm glad, thanks to the military, I could do it with a little to no cost. So I'm just appreciative and getting as much as I can through my education.
mhm. Okay, good. So when it comes to, um, what advice would you give to young people who may want to pursue a career in the military, what advice would you give, those persons?
My advice would be to just go for it. Like, it's not as daunting or scary as it may seem. I tell everybody, like, if I could do it, anybody could do it. I'm not very athletic, but it's not even athleticism. It's just putting your mind to do something and making sure you have the strength and determination to do it. And you can definitely do it because you can get so much out of the military. You literally can. You can do so much. So don't be scared. Go for it because the benefits will always be worth it. So I would recommend that anybody that has that opportunity, don't squander it, go ahead and do it because you could get so much out of the military.
Hmm. All right. So you said um, you said you know, you're in tune with some of the music, you
Mhm.
know. So what type of music is, let's say, your favorite, and maybe what's one of your favorite songs right now?
Uh, I don't know. I really like Punta Rock, like New Age Punta. I really like it. I don't know what would be my favorite song right now, but I know that anytime I go home for the 19th of November, it's always so much fun. I love how immersed I am in the culture. Anytime I go home, it's just surrounded. It's a celebration of Garifuna culture, and I love that. And I love the music, like Punta, all the time. So I love that. And yeah, I love Punta Rock.
Hmm. So who would be you know, one of your favorite artists?
I say next gen.
Oh, you like Next Gen too. Okay. Uh, yeah. Next Gen makes good music. Um, I'm trying to see if I know they have the Wrong and Wrong, the Wrong and Wrong song that I've heard over and over. Um, can you name any of the another song by them? Let me see if I can find it.
I don't know them by the songs. I just know like when I hear it, I know that yeah, that's next gen.
Oh, okay. Next Gen. Alright, so in terms of the language, what would you advise someone who is interested in learning the language? What advice would you give that person?
I feel like if they were wanted to learn the language, I would suggest speaking to like an elder in the Garifuna community because I feel like that would be the best way to learn the language and maybe try to immerse themselves as much as possible with the language. Like maybe go to participate in a pageant or listen to the music or just find a facet of the culture that they like that appeals to them and use that to learn the language.
Mhm. And do you have an idea at the moment that you said, maybe in the future to that effect that, you will make the effort to learn the language? So, in terms of the route you're gonna take, do you have like an idea how you're going to make that happen?
I feel like I'll probably talk to my grandmother because I know she speaks Garifuna fluently. I would just tell her, hang out with her some more and just tell her, just speak to me in Garifuna. I'll just figure it out. Don't talk to me in English. Just speak to me in straight Garifuna, and then I'll just figure it out that way.
Mhm.
Because I feel like being like immersed and like maybe somewhat like forced into learning, just that's how I learned the fastest.
Okay. And is that similar to how you're learning Korean? Is
Uh,
it like a similar, route you're taking to learn Korean?
yes, that is a similar way I'm learning Korean at the moment, and just repetition.
Mhm, mhm. And do you find it easy to learn a language? because I think I have, you know, in my mind, like the only way I can become fluent in a language
Mhm,
is if I'm always surrounded by, you know, everything in that language, including where I live, you
mhm,
know. So when you go out, go somewhere, all the text on the buildings or the billboards or the sign is in that language, you know, everything everywhere. So now then I'm forced, and then everyone is speaking that language too.
mhm.
You know, that way you have no choice.
Yeah.
But that's the way my mind works. So,
I feel like while I was in Korea, although like I was only in Korea for 1 month, and I feel like learning the language that way, when you go to a country that speaks a completely different language and you don't know any completely like none of the language, is kind of like frustrating a little bit. But now these days you have like Google Translate and other like translated apps, because without it you just feel like so lost and out of touch because everybody's saying something you can't understand. So it's
mm-hmm,
nice to know that you could have like go there with a little bit of knowledge, or at least learn a little bit before you just immerse yourself, because then you could just feel stuck or lost.
mm-hmm, yeah. And were you, you know, did you manage to learn a little bit before you go over there? Like the
Um,
basics,
I
the
I
basic
knew how.
phrases and whatnot?
Luckily I didn't really know any Korean before I went to Korea, but I was with my teacher, my professor who was from Korea, and she was fluent in Korean. So she
Mm-hmm.
did teach me the basic phrases, and I knew maybe as much as I know Garifuna, like
Oh
hello,
wow.
thank
Oh
you,
wow. Okay.
hello, thank you, that's it. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how was the trip in Korea? What was that experience? What was that experience like for you?
I really like Korea. It's very different from being somebody that's from Belize and like from a different country. It's always just interesting to see a different country's culture and how, their way of life and how they do things, because everything's so different. Like
Mm-hmm.
you live in America, you could get stuck in thinking of like, oh, everything's the same, or like, but Korea is just so different. It's not comparable to anything I've ever experienced, but I loved it. The people were nice, the food was good, and I just really enjoyed my time there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So would you go back?
Yes, actually, I'm looking into applying for a scholarship so I could study there.
Okay, very nice. That sounds like you will learn that language. You will learn that language. That's cool. That's very cool. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. So I'm going to share my screen and then I'm going to show you some images. Actually, I am going to, yes, I will show you some images. Let me see, it's this one. So it's a game I came up with. I call it Garifuna Match. So since to kind of meet you halfway, so I'm going to show you the images and I'm going to show you the words, but the words will be mixed up. So it's for you to match the image to the word. All right, so let me share my screen. Let's see here. And then you let me know if you need me to zoom in so you can see it clearer. And I will zoom in. Can you see it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so the first one is an example.
Okay.
Um, so that's the image. So the word is book, and you see the Garifuna word in this column. So the English word,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Garifuna word. And
Okay.
then when you match the word, I will just copy from, you know, column C and insert it to, you know, with the matching image. So from this example, how would you say book in Garifuna?
Uh, Garada.
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 All right. And in this case, it's showing the Garifuna dictionary. Did you use this at all when you were studying to or preparing yourself for the Miss Garifuna pageants?
Yes, I did actually.
Hmm. So, what does this book mean to you, the Garifuna Dictionary?
It was very helpful. It was a useful tool because not everybody knows every word. So knowing that you could look up any word is very, very helpful when you're preparing for a pageant.
Hmm. Okay. So, the following images now. I have the English words and then the mixed Garifuna words. So the first one is traveling.
Hmm.
Um, I know you do a lot of traveling, but what has traveling taught you? You know, being, going to be able to go to having the opportunity to go to so many different places.
Traveling means to me is just to take in every experience, with a fresh eyes, and just to be open to new experiences, and just to be mindful of other people's cultures. Just because you do something a certain way doesn't mean that other people do it like that.
Hmm.
So it's just making sure that you're mindful of your environment and to just take in and be very open minded.
Hmm. Okay, so traveling, these are the words. If you need me to scroll up, I I will do that. So you let me know which word do you think means traveling.
Can I see the last word?
So I'm scrolling up.
Uh, hmm. Mm, I guess I would say, can I see the first ones
Mm,
again?
yeah, sure.
Uh, hmm,
If you want to skip that one for now, you
yeah,
can do that.
I'll come back to that one.
Okay. And the next one is dancing.
Okay.
So is it Fanidera? Is it Familia or Isanigo? Is it Abinahani? Is it Afayahani? Or is it Isin?
I think that one is a Binahani.
Abinahani. Yep, you get that one correct. So that's that one. Good. So this one is out. We did that one already. So the next word is the Garifuna flag or just the word flag.
Okay, I think that one is the first one, Fanidara.
Anidara. Got that correct again. Oop, crossed out the wrong one. Okay, so this one is out. The next word is love.
And I know that one is Easting.
ECN. Okay, and then the next one is family.
Okay, and that one is up, is somewhere up. Is Sonical.
Masanigo or familia. All right.
Hmm. So the traveling has to be a fire honey,
Afayahani.
fire honey.
Mm-hmm. All right. The last one. Okay, good job. You did it. All right, So they want to say the words now. Traveling is
Afaya honey.
Afayahani. Dancing is
Abina. Abina honey.
Abinahani. The flag or Garifuna flag is
Anidaba.
Anedera. Love is
Isin.
Lisin. And family is
Isanigo.
Sanigo or Familia. Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, let me switch to this one. So these were the words that I just showed you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what traveling is?
Afaya honey.
Afehani, dancing,
Abina honey.
Abinahani, the flag, Garfna flag,
Anidara.
Anidara, love,
Isin.
Ising, and family,
Familia or Isanigo.
Isanaga. Very good. You have a good memory. Do you know the word for the drum, the Garfna drum?
I only know it's primero segunda. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
the
So the word for drum is gararo.
uh,
Mm-hmm. And then the book, you remember the word for the book?
uh, garada.
Garada. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So besides what we've discussed so far, what are other talents or hobbies that you engage in, when on your downtime?
Um, my hobbies, I really like to read, and I also enjoy crocheting.
Oh, you like crocheting? Cool. I know one of my friend's mom, she's really into that and she's very good at it too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's it, reading and crocheting.
Yeah. I like to make purses or dresses.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Did you try doing like the Garfina colors once?
Not
Or
yet.
just like varying colors?
Yeah, just different colors.
Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right, so let's proceed. All right, so you told us a little bit about what you do already, so that's good. So this is one of your photos. Matter of fact, the only photo I have of you alone. Other than that, it's with, your brothers, sisters, cousins. So, what was this moment like for you?
That's my official blues photo for the military. I was in basic training there. It was a very basic training was very intense a little bit, just being surrounded with 40 different women all the time, doing everything together,
Mhm,
always having that pressure of being yelled at and being told what to do. But this day was just a day where we got to put on our uniforms for the first time and just smile and be happy. So this was one of the good moments of basic training. And
mhm,
so I'm really glad that we
mhm,
got to capture that moment.
mhm. Cool. And it was definitely, a proud moment for me seeing you, being able to achieve something great like this, So kudos to you. And I was happy to be able to, be there and witness that. All right. So, you know, what's next for you? Where do you see yourself, in the next year or maybe 5 years from now? What's next for you?
Uh, right now I'm kind of up in the air because I did apply to physician assistant school, but when I got the opportunity to go to Korea this year, I also wanted to maybe take a year or two to pursue my master's there. So apply to PA school, but I'm planning to apply to a scholarship to study Korean studies in South Korea. So where I end up next year just depends on where I'm accepted. And
Mhm.
so those are my two options. And 5 years from now, hopefully, I'm pursuing my career in healthcare and just, I don't know where specifically I want to live yet, but I know I see myself in a career in healthcare.
Mhm. Okay. Pretty cool. Definitely, good luck to you with, what's next, with all that's to come. And with the dedication and the drive that you have, I know you'll continue to open doors for yourself. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right. So, we're only put here for a little bit, all of us. So when that time comes, how do you want people to remember you? What do you want people to think of when they hear your name? Taryn Nunez. What do you want them to uh, remember about you?
I feel like one of the core values I value as a person and just in general is just being a nice, caring person. I want to be remembered as a person that was always nice and caring and somebody that was very loving and somebody that that if you were ever in trouble or needed something that I was there. I feel like that's the legacy I want to put forward above anything, just being a nice, caring person and being somebody that was loved.
Hmm. Okay. And I am a firm believer, and more and more that it's important to pass on what you know, so those that will come after us, have some of that knowledge. I think knowledge and experience should be shared. So are you or have you or do you plan to sort of like tutor or mentor others, you know, to pass on some of what you know?
I do plan on that. Wherever my future generations end up, I do plan on not only immersing them in the Belizean culture, but the Garifuna culture, because I know that I'm very grateful for my parents for what all the experience and the culture I learned in my childhood. So I definitely plan on passing that on in the future because I just never want to be in my old age or 50 years from now and there's no trace of the Garifuna culture. It has to be passed on for generations and generations to come.
Hmm. Okay, good. All right. So, Taryn, my niece, thank you so much for, being here, for, sharing your experience, giving of yourself. I'm definitely very grateful for that. Um, so I will, of course, Serme, much appreciated. Thank you. Um, so I will let you have the last words. Any last words?
Uh, Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. And I just want everybody to know learn Garifuna and pass it on. It's very important. We never want to come to a time where there's nobody that speaks Garifuna. And I know I'm guilty of it myself, but I will make an effort to learn. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Mhm. All right, Taryn. Thank you.
Okay.
Ayo. Bye.
Bye.